I've had a lot of questions about pinch welds and fender alignment because they do affect one another. Now, as you can see, this one's pretty straight now. I've already started working on this thing, so that's why. But typically what happens is somebody puts a jack right here, okay, and then they fold this lip up. Well, as they fold this lip up, it pushes the bottom of the fender up. So if you push the bottom of this fender up like this, it's gonna bow out up here. So I'm gonna show you guys just real quick like what I do, like my first initial thing that I do to these whenever I catch them like this. It's very simple. Just basically take a hammer, beat the crap out of it and get it back straight. And from here, there's all sorts of things you can do. If this thing is still like messed up and bent up out of the way, you can take the bolt out and put another bolt with a chain through it like this, and you can pull this thing down, try to stretch it out. There's a lot of different ways, but for right now, let me just show you what I do. This thing's still a little bent up, but not too bad. And what it'll do is it'll also lower your fender as well. So as you hit this down here, it will sink your fender in and also lower it a little bit. Now this thing is pretty much lined up, but as you can see, it's not perfect. So let's hit this thing a few more times and see if that doesn't get a little better. So all I'm gonna do, if you guys can see this, is take a brass bar, put it right here. But look at that, guys. Even it out almost perfect. So with nothing more than tapping on this and trying to straighten this pinch weld out, we've already got our fender pretty much spot on. Now you can loosen this bolt up and that will allow your fender to basically move back and forth, up and down. It'll move in a 360-degree motion. Also, you can drill the hole out a little bigger in the fender itself if you need more movement. But typically all of your problems will be addressed if you can just go ahead and get this pinch weld back straightened out somewhat. Now over on this side, I had to do a lot of work here. And I don't think you're gonna be able to see it, but where this thing mounts up is still bent pretty bad. It's actually pushed up into the car. So the mounting tab right here that the fender actually mounts to is pushed up into the car. So really that needs to be pulled down some more, but I've already done everything that I can do and I just don't think it's gonna move anymore. So there are a couple options here. Like I said earlier, you can take this and drill the hole out in the fender a little bit bigger, and what that'll do is obviously allow your fender to move more this way. Because this isn't sitting right and it needs to still be beat in a little bit, that's why we have a little bit of gap right here. This is an impromptu little deal here, okay? So let me just pull this out of the way and see if I can straighten this out a little bit. And that needs to go in a little bit. So let's see if we can. This piece right here is gonna have to be adjusted, but look how it pulled the fender in. You see what I'm saying? That's what I wanted to show you guys. I actually took it a little too far because now our gap is really tight right here, but what you can do now is just loosen this bolt up and shift everything around. Guys, these cars have taken a beating over the years. That's just a matter of fact. So there's not much you can do with them. Just have to work with them as you can, unless you're a professional and you have all the equipment to be able to do this stuff with. I don't. So I do what I can do here. So all you gotta do here is loosen this up, right? And look how much your fender can move around here. So you can get your fender to pretty much go wherever you want to. All right, just because I don't have a lot of time today and I'm trying to get this thing ready for paint, I'm not gonna be able to show you the whole process, but those are your adjustments. The whole fender as a whole needs to be loosened from the top, the bolt that comes behind your door here, and this one all need to be loosened up, and then you adjust your fender. Okay, so I did want to go ahead and show you this. All right, so I pulled the bolt out, and as you can see, this is the size hole that I put in this fender. It has a big enough washer to cover it, no issues. But what I want to show you is back here on this tab. As you can see, it's actually bent up ever so slightly. So I'm going to show you how you can do like a makeshift frame machine, I guess you could say. Most people have ratchet straps laying around the house. The better option here will be to run a bolt through here with a chain. And I have one over there, but I think this will serve the purpose right here for what I'm trying to show you guys. Okay, so what I did was I just hooked this up here and then down to an anchor point on the floor, or either your jack. So I know not everybody has a lift, so you can actually hook this to the bottom of your jack, all right? And as you jack the car up, you're going to put more tension in this. Now be careful with a ratchet strap like this. These things are not meant to do this. I'd prefer you use a chain, but you could do this as long as you were smart about it and didn't get carried away. So don't be trying to make any major changes in the metal with this. But so what we would do would just be to crank on this. And as you can see, this metal is already moving. See that? Okay? I guess you can see that. So that's how you can do that, or just jack the car up with it attached, and that'll work as well. There again, I prefer you use a chain if you're gonna do that, but that's the concept behind it anyway. And anytime you're adjusting on your fender, go ahead and make sure that all your bolts are loose. I think it's just best to do that, because if you look, this fender will move a lot, right? But it's not really moving up top. And as you can see, this thing is way high right here, so it needs to be pulled down. I stand by. Let me get somebody to hold the camera, and I'll show you guys a couple more tricks on the pinch welds. So you can go to Harbor Freight and pick up a little hammer and dolly set. Guys, I am not a a body man, so don't misunderstand here at all. So what I'm going to do is just grab something, really doesn't matter. Do you see that? So look, guys, don't overthink this. You don't have to be a body man. Just make it a little better than it is. What you're going to do is put your dolly up there behind it and start tapping. So you can get a 2x4. Really, you need a piece of metal to do this. We call these duck bills around here. You guys call them other things. Let's see. Let's look over here. Okay. See how that's like bent up real bad right there? Okay. So one of the ways you can do this is get a pair of these. Get it as tight as you can. Kind of move it back and forth, and most of the time that will get most of this out. Now you gotta get down on it pretty good, but if you guys don't want to get the hammer and dolly out and you just want them a little more straight than what they are, you can always grab a set of these. Remember that these pinch welds from the factory weren't perfect, right? They were all spot welded up. This is about as straight as they were from the factory, which, don't get me wrong, is not bad, but you know, don't get so focused on like them being perfect unless it's a show car. If you're trying to make it a show car and you're worried about that, you probably don't want to rely on yourself to do this unless you're a professional body man. All right, let's see if we can straighten this out real quick. So see this ripple right here? You can grab these. You have to go pretty tight on this now. Just kind of wiggle it once you get it clamped up. Pop it loose. One more time right here. And there you go. So that'll at least help you out, and you can just work your way down doing this over and over and over and over again if that's what you'd like, okay? So guys, that's my quick tip on pinch welds. You know, I'm not a professional. I don't really even know how to use a hammer and dolly, as you could tell in the video. But if you're worried about, like, if they're severely bent up and you just want to get them back in shape, that's a good way to go ahead and get started with it. If not, and you're not comfortable, that may be something that you want to let a professional look at. Also, it does push the body of the car up a lot of times. As you can see, there's a slight dent right here. That's just the way these cars are. So it's up to you whether you worry about that or not. I'm not going to worry about it. All my cars are, well, not perfect. So it's cool with me. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. I hope this video helps somebody out. At least you know how to kind of adjust your fenders and move them around now, some of the things that you can and can't do. I'll catch you guys in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching.